Hi there, Karen Flaherty here from Living by Human Design with today's Human Design Weather Report. Today we've got the Gate 14, which is all about money and abundance and possession in great measure. So we've got the Gate 14, which started midday today, the 16th, and it goes until the 21st of November. We've got the Earth in Gate 8, which is creative contribution. And the 8 is up here coming off the throat. And the 14 is right here in the middle coming off the sacral. And so this is all about work energy. It's all about working. It's all about working and making money and creating the resources that we need for ourselves, for our community, for our family, for all of that. The 8 is all about creative contribution, and we'll talk about both of those in a moment. But we start the week out again with the 2034 defined, all the sacral and throat energy with the motorized throat. We also have the root to the solar plexus, which is also defined, the 1949, the channel of synthesis. And we've got the 1-8 here between the G and the throat, also defined because of another planet that's in the Gate 1. And then we've also got the 6124 up here between the head and the ajna. So again, and in fact, not again, but even more centers defined this week than we had last week. So now we've got 2, 4, 6, 7. The only things not defined are the will and the spleen. And so, which is kind of a good thing with all this energy. It's kind of nice not to have the will and the willfulness and the ego that goes with that defined for everyone. But all of these, can you imagine, all of these centers are defined for everybody on the planet. So if they don't have them, that's going to feel a little different. If they do have them, it'll feel pretty much the same. But a lot of people don't have all these centers defined. And so it's going to be a little interesting for them because they're not going to many of them, of course, realize where this energy, this burst of energy is coming from, or this burst of, opinions up here, or this burst of being able to speak and be heard for some reason. They probably won't get it, this burst of energy in the sacral and all this emotion and root feeling of groundedness. So it's a kind of a good overview, right, of what happens, what kinds of energies happen when they're consistent in the chart. And this is one of those weeks. I've actually never seen it like this before. I've never seen it this lit up. So we've got the sun in the Gate 14, which does come off the sacral. I refer to it as the gate of money. In the I Ching, it's referred to as the gate of possession in great measure or power skills in the original I Ching. And so this is all about the accumulation and retention of power through skilled interaction, coupling grace with control. This is literally about working in something that rings your bells, that lights a fire in your belly and gets all your juices flowing so that you're really doing well, creating competence and having a lot of effect within the work that you're doing. As you probably realize, a lot of people don't work in jobs that do all of that for them. And so, to be honest, I think that's part of this Great Resignation. People are realizing that if they don't have that fire in their belly and they don't really care about what they're doing, the money doesn't really matter as much when their souls are so sucked dry of any kind of really making a difference in the world. Why do it? As long as you can do something that, keeps a roof over your head and food on the table, maybe that job in the big city wasn't what was really needed as much. And so we've got a lot of changes going on. But this money gate coming off the sacral is all about finding something that you really love to do, doing it well, becoming very competent at it and continuing to do it, for as long as you want to. In the incarnation crosses this week is the cross of contagion, because having that enthusiasm for your work is very contagious. It's empowerment and uncertainty. And then in the Gate 8, this is all about making a creative contribution. So this creative contribution coupled with making money or having prosperity and wealth and abundance, coupled with really doing what you're here to do, is a big part of this. They always go together. Anybody who was born this week is going to have the Gate 14 and the Gate 8 in their charts, and that making a creative contribution is what lights the fire for the 14, right? With that idea of what it is that you really want to do. It's called contribution or holding together in the original I Ching, and it's the basic worth realized in contributing individual efforts to group goals, because it's a very individual gate. So is the gate 14. That's part of the individual circuit that goes through right through the middle of the body graph, and they're very individual energies, and so they have to be you come about them by having a very individual or unique perspective on what it is you want to do. And in the Gene Keys, mediocrity is the shadow, style is the gift, and exquisiteness is the CD. So here we are, that fire in the belly. Love is a fire that cannot be resisted, Richard says. And the bounteousness is the CD for the Gene Key 14. That would be the highest level. The shadow is compromise, the gift is competence, and the CD is bounteousness. So what Richard says is, whenever you compromise, you're settling for second best. And so you can never fully enjoy what you do in life. And how many of us have settled from our dreams, the dreams when you were in your teens or 20s versus going to school and being told to be an accountant or a computer programmer or, something that's going to make you a lot of money. Meanwhile, if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to make the money. So it's not it's not an either or. You just because you're doing something that should make you money doesn't mean it's necessarily going to make you money. And so really, shadow of compromise is what creates the kind of soul crunching desperation that some people are in right now. They just don't want to do what they've been taught to do. And so what are they doing? They're going back to the things that they wanted to do when they were younger, the dreams that they had. I just heard that there was a report from the Department of Labor this morning that the people who are leaving the workforce are deciding to become entrepreneurs. And they're doing the things that they really wanted to do, or that they've been, inspired to do by something in the environment or in their community, or, for some other reason in their life. So he also says competence carries within it efficiency, enthusiasm, flair, and flexibility. And he calls these the 4 keys to material success. And this gate 14 is all about material success. It is about doing what you love and finding the resources and the money that you'll be compensated for because you've done a good job. And so I love this definition, because Brendan Burchard has a confidence kind of circle that he always talks about, which is, you become competent at something, you get better and better at it, and then you gain confidence, right? And the more competence you gain, the more confidence that comes about as a result of it. And so after, 10 or 12 years of doing something, you feel pretty confident at what you're doing because you've learned so much. And so here he's saying the competence, the kind of these 4 keys of material success are efficiency. In other words, doing it in a way that allows you to, because this 14 is connected to the sacral, is to use, for those of you who are sacrally defined, to use your gut, right? To efficiently figure out solutions to problems by using your gut and not going through the manuals and Google searches and everything else that you need to find a way to figure out the problem. That's not necessary. You can really just use your gut, intuit what needs to be done and get it done very efficiently. Enthusiasm, that goes with the territory. When you're doing something you love, right? You're enthusiastic, and that spreads to other people. You're able to recruit people. You're able to find other people to help you and to work with you, vendors and clients and other resources that you need. You do it with a sense of flair because it's so unique. It's so individual that you're the only one doing it that way, right? I mean, there are lots of people doing human design. Nobody does it like I do it, and that's okay. I enjoy that. There's no competition that way. I'm doing it the way I want to do it, and everybody else is doing it the way they want to do it. And that's great. That works for everybody. And it's the same in every other industry. You'll notice that the products and services that you like the most are the people who have a flair for doing them, who have a really unique way of doing them, so that they're not really in competition with anyone else. They also have flexibility. And the flexibility comes from basically a lack of rigidity, right? It's like, okay, if it doesn't work out this way, we'll try it another way. If something needs to change, that's okay. We can change it. It's the confidence that goes with having that flexibility that allows you to keep having the flexibility, right? And not get into rigid silos of the way this is the way it has to be done, and we can't do it any other way. And sorry, no, that doesn't work for us. That doesn't happen. When people are really doing what they love, they find a way to be flexible about it, and they find a way to actually help their customers or clients or patients or whomever it is in a way that suits them, the client, right? In a way that suits the people they're serving. It's all about service. It's all about making things work for the people that you're working for. So I love this definition that he has in terms of the 4 keys to material success. I hadn't heard that before, and it really makes a lot of sense to me. We have a lot of personalities born in this gate 14. As I said, it's the writing goes across contagion, empowerment, and uncertainty. And so we've got people who were able to corral resources in one way or another. And so whether it's their own personal wealth, like a Ted Turner, or a Larry King, who happened to be very wealthy, Goldie Hawn, Voltaire, the philosopher, George Gallup, in terms of the surveys that he did. Those are the Gallup surveys that became so famous. Lorne Michaels, who was able to find and resource so many different people over the however many years it is now that Saturday Night Live has been on. Indira Gandhi, who led her country for a number of years and was eventually assassinated, but grew the country while she was there and took it away from British. Well, her father actually took it out from under British rule. President Biden has this gate. Margaret Atwood, the writer of The Handmaid's Tale. So there are a lot of people who have been able to do what they want without compromise and find a way to create the resources that would benefit them, their people, their community, their families, etc. And really, the idea with the contagion is to spread it around. They can be really individual in the way they do things, but then they're able to spread it to the community and even further. So this week in history, we saw in 1913, the first ships sailing through the Panama Canal, which connected the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans. In 1918, they actually reported that the influenza deaths from the pandemic that they were going through far exceeded World War I casualties, which was pretty amazing because there were so many casualties in World War I. Mickey Mouse made his film debut. In 2003, Massachusetts Supreme Court made same-sex marriages constitutional. And in 1947, Princess Elizabeth, on November 20th, married the Duke of Edinburgh, Philip, in Westminster Abbey. And in fact, that I always wondered about that, but my parents were actually married on that same day, November 20th, not 1947, a few years later. But I have a feeling that they picked November 20th because Princess Elizabeth had. And in 1962, President Kennedy barred religious or racial discrimination in federally funded housing. And the US Census report came in at 200 million people, which was a first for the United States, reaching that 200 million mark. Now, of course, we've reached over 300 million. And then in 1981, Microsoft Windows 1.0 was released. So I'm not sure exactly what version we're up to right now, but it's all started in 1981. And then in 1967, President Johnson signed the Air Quality Act, which gave a lot of money to the fight against pollution. So a lot of, when you think about it, a lot of resources being used and utilized and done for the first time during this week. And so see how you can use your resources this week. See how you can utilize the resources that you have to make a difference, to benefit your family, to create some wealth and abundance in your own life so that you're feeling safe and secure, but in a unique and really individual way. That's what this gate is about. It's about finding work that works for you, right? Finding work that actually works so that you can create the resources that you need to live and prosper. It's about prosperity. It's about wealth. It's about abundance. And I hope we'll all be feeling that abundant feeling as we move through this week. So have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Take care.